Hello, and welcome to the College of Woodson Academy podcast. We are the Latin Network. We are your hosts, Stephen Aranda,
And Mesias.
where this segment's purpose is to tell you about a culture and community that you may not know a lot about.
That community being the Hispanic/Latinx community. We are going to be talking about a wide variety of subjects such as cultural events, traditions, and everything in between. So let's start with something that everyone can enjoy, music. If you haven't listened to Spanish music before, then you are definitely missing out on a huge part of the culture. And the Hispanic community has a large influence on music that you may not even realize. One of the biggest artists in the Hispanic community is Daddy Yankee, the king of reggaeton. Now, let me tell you a little story. Back when I was a kid, my mom would take me to get my haircut at a salon run by mostly Hispanic people. And a Hispanic salon is way different than a normal salon because in the corner of most salons would just be those, you remember those coin machines that gave out like temporary tattoos and like,
Yeah, they're like 25 cents.
yeah, like for a quarter. And they always had like the knockoff games in the other corner. And then in the front of the shop would always be that one table with like those three old people always gossiping around the table. So talk about, oh yeah, no, this person married this person, they broke up, she cheated on him, pretty much any type of gossip. And on the radio would always be Daddy Yankee. And in the Hispanic community, if you ask anyone who Daddy Yankee is, they will immediately tell you. And he's just a household name overall.
Household name.
Definitely. And pretty much in the Hispanic community, you throw a rock, you'll hit Daddy Yankee. He'll be mad you threw a rock at him, but I mean, he'll forgive you.
As we were talking about Daddy Yankee, he is a reggaeton singer. He's also an actor, radio announcer, record producer, and an entrepreneur. His real name is Ramon Luis Ayala Rodriguez.
Why say his full government name?
We don't talk about that. But he was born February 3rd, 1977 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Some other notable names could be as well. Household names is from Puerto Rico is Jennifer Lopez and Clemente Roberto.
Yeah, some of Daddy Yankee's biggest hits are Por Última Vez, which is actually spelled X Última Vez because in Spanish, in like text form, we always use X informal to say por, so it's spelled X Última Vez, so you can use that to confuse your friends who don't know Spanish. He also did La Santa with Bad Bunny, and he was also in Despacito with Luis Fonsi, which I didn't know until like 3 seconds ago. So, and probably one of his most famous songs would be Gasolina, which you ask anybody in the Hispanic community or even anyone who has listened to a little bit of Spanish music, you ask them about Daddy Yankee, they will tell you the first song comes to mind is Gasolina. So he originally got into the music industry in 1995, where he released lots of songs, a couple with Nicky Jam, but he didn't blow up until 2004 when he dropped his album Barrio Fino, which is just Fine Neighborhood in Spanish. And that album brought him a Latin Grammy, Billboard Awards, and it also went platinum. And that same album is where Gasolina came from. So
so through Yankees music, reggaeton, when he entered the mainstream, he changed like the whole perception of like that type of music and Hispanic communities. He basically just inspired a lot of new artists because like if you go and look up new reggaeton artists, there's multiple of them now than there used to be. I mean, he just inspired many new artists to.
Yeah, and he's been doing this for like 20 years now, and he's just now retiring. So you have to give respect to him. So let's switch topics. So let's talk about something that the Hispanic community is famous for, or shall I say infamous for, the parties that go on until 2 a.m. minimum. And those parties are where Hispanic kids get the ability to sleep through anything. I remember my parents used to take me to parties that their friends hosted. And here's the thing. When I was a kid, I did not have energy. Unlike like most of their kids, like 10 o'clock comes around.
They'd be still running around or...
Yeah, other kids still be running around. Me, I'm knocked out. I'm knocked out in the corner. I ripped off the paper tablecloths that they have. And I was just sleeping in the corner while music was blaring through speakers.
Yeah.
And I had to put like 17 alarms to wake me up, so...
most of the parties go until like 2 a.m. because like everyone's just dancing, singing, having a fun time, letting go of all stress. It's just a good time to like just spend time with people you love and stuff.
Yeah, and like those parties you see people who you haven't seen like in a long time. Like my dad used to go to those parties. He saw friends who he hasn't seen in like 7 years, and they just catch up. And you might think we're exaggerating about like the 2 a.m. like the parties ending at 2 a.m. But no, that actually happened because like recently a sporting event happened. My parents invited over a couple of friends to watch the sporting event, and well, they made lots of food, snacks, drinks, and I didn't like parties, so I just stayed in my room. But when I came up like around 11 p.m. to get some food, you know what I saw in like the living room where everyone was watching?
Probably like kids running around or something.
You're absolutely right, because the friends and my parents invited had like four kids, two in high school, one middle school, one 4-year-old. Guess who was asleep in the corner of the room?
Probably the middle schoolers.
You're absolutely right. That middle schooler was wrapped up in a blanket. The high schoolers were barely staying awake, and the 4-year-old was chasing the dog around by the tail. And I mean, yeah,
Most of these parties, like the most like notable things that like why they happen is because usually someone's quince, the holidays are coming up, or it's because like there's a reason to celebrate someone. It could be like a happy birthday party, like just someone visiting you. I mean, from a long time, but yeah, that's usually a reason for it.
yeah, and like depending on the occasion and like the reason for the party and whoever's hosting it, each party will look different. So like if it's a casual party, like you said, like someone coming over, a birthday or anything, the host will usually just make like barbecue, like either in the park or at their house, and yeah, I'll make barbecue tacos or any other type of food. And okay, hear me out. Have you ever gone to like a party and you've seen those 5 coolers?
Yes.
So what we're talking about is that in every single Hispanic party, there's 5 red coolers, not blue, not green, red, and only in one of those is there one bottle of actual drinkable water. Everything else is either beer or soda. That's all. That's all, and all the soda's been taken.
And you gotta like dig deep into the
You have to.
bin
You have
to
to.
find the water.
You have to risk frostbite every single time you want something to drink. And yeah, but that's casual parties. If it's like a special occasion, then the host will go all out. They will hire a DJ. They will cater from a restaurant, rent out tables. Do you know how much tables cost?
A lot
They
of money.
cost way too much. Either that or they're charging us way too much for it.
Yeah, and yeah, so we were talking about like quinces and stuff. Quinceañera parties are where like the Hispanics go all out, and it's a party like where you have to go at least you have to go to one of these
Yeah,
parties
it's
at
like
least
a
once.
once in a lifetime opportunity. Like once you go there, your perception on parties will just change overall.
Yeah. So the reason why these parties are thrown is to celebrate a girl becoming a woman, which is at the age of 15 years
It's
old.
weird that's at 15 because like isn't like the United States like 16?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, yeah, because quinceañeras are just the sweet 16, but at 15 years old. So.
Yeah. Um, like so it would be equivalent as we said as a sweet 16. They wear a dress which is very elegant and it comes out in lots of different colors. One of the most colors they use is red, gold, white, and black.
And when we say elegant, I mean like they are like what
Big
20?
and
They're
puffy.
like 20 pounds of material, and
Yeah.
it's all pure fluff. And
It's like they're really big. I mean the parties take like months to plan as well because it can be really expensive. Sometimes parents have to like take out loans because it does take a lot of money.
yeah, like my uncle, my cousin turned 15 like 2 years ago, and they threw this huge quinceañera party. Like it was like I think like 300 guests overall, more or less, give or take.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Like friends were inviting their friends and everything, and they took out a loan for it. It was crazy, but I mean, it's worth it to like see the party go through. But
I mean, yeah, but there's like a core of people who the quinceañera chooses, consisting of both damas and chambelanes. Damas are basically the girls, and chambelanes are the boys, and you usually have like a group of them, like could be like 10.
like from 7, like 5, a group of 5 to like 12, but that's just the range. It could be like as many as you want, but
Yeah, it's usually that.
and usually the quinceañera chooses who's a dama, who's a chambelan, and they usually choose either family members or people close to them, or if they have like a significant other, they choose them.
And like the months before, they have to like practice the dance they're gonna do on that day.
Yeah, and the practices are insane. Like
It takes months to
it
prepare.
takes months, and there's like they meet at least like 3 times a week for like 3 hours, so like 9 hours every single week just to practice. And
Yeah.
like it takes like a lot of effort for the dance to look good, but in the end, it actually does look good. And
Were you ever going to be one?
yeah, I used to be I was going to be a chamberlain, but because of life events, I couldn't. But
Yeah.
oh, but from what I can tell you is that yeah, those the dance is insane. And yeah, after like we said, the chamberlain and the dama dance, there's usually like a father daughter dance, which when done correctly can make one very emotional. We will get back to this after a 1 minute break, so stay tuned for the rest. And we are back. So getting back on topic, one of the other parties that you have to at least go to, at least in terms of the Hispanic community, is the holiday parties, because the way we do holiday parties is different depending on from region to region or culture to culture. And overall, a holiday party, at least for as at least in a Hispanic household, will look much different from a holiday party in like American households.
Yeah, so as we were talking about holiday traditions, like the way I celebrate a holiday is kind of different from everyone else, or like
Yeah.
people Hispanics. Some Hispanics actually do this, but basically on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, we gather around and we do this tradition where we basically blessing the angel and stuff, and we just hang around, have a good time, do traditional customs, share food and drinks. And as we're talking about food, some traditional foods that that are brought to the show are pozole, which is Mexican cuisine, and that is
So
basically a soup made with pork and really
it's like really good. Like
you have to try it.
yeah,
Actually,
you have to
if
try
you
it.
get the chance. But it
When done
is
correctly, it's good.
yeah. So it's made with pork, hominy, and red chilies. They also bring as we all know, the famous tamales, and a lot of people know of. We also do this gift operation where like we all give someone random at the gathering, and we have to give them a gift which they open on that day, and it's just something we do all the time.
Also, like Secret Santa, basically.
Yeah, basically, I mean, everybody gets a gift, even the kids. It doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
Overall, we just have a great time hanging out with everybody and just enjoying the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's a little different from the way we do in my family. Like you said, we make tamales, but we also make pierna, which is just pork's leg, boche navideño, which is a hot.
Really good. You gotta try
It's
it.
really good. It's one of those things. We keep saying you have to try it, but you have to try it to like see how good it is. Like it's ponche is just like a hot drink made of like cinnamon, tejotes, sugarcane, guavas, apples, pears, and all sorts of fruit. And like you said, we get together on 24th
Really
and
good.
we talk and hang out till midnight. After midnight, we open presents, and then we end the party at like 2 a.m. But anyway, since we are still a new podcast, we want your input. We have a survey at bit.ly/Latin Network CGWA survey, all lowercase, no spaces. All answers are anonymous, and we want to hear what you know about Hispanic/Latin culture, and and if you're of Hispanic or Latin descent, what has your experience been like, and how it's impacted you?
We
And
just want your like input. It could be anything what you know of. If you're not Hispanic, you can put whatever you know, food, dress, something. Does not matter. Just
yeah, we just
anything.
want to give a voice to everyone out there. Anyways, we are the Latin Network, and it has been a pleasure talking to all of you. See you
Bye.
next time.